Good afternoon to all. Welcome to the Blue Business and Innovation for Sustainable Use of the Ocean event. This session, promoted by the Dgpm, the Blue Growth Program operator of the EEA Grants 2014-2021 financial mechanism, aims to demonstrate the current results of the program and some projects financed in the area of business, innovation and SMEs, and how these contribute to the 2030 agenda, namely ODS 14. To address a few welcome words, we have the pleasure to announce Ruben Eiras, Secretary-General of Foro Oceano.
Are you listening to me? All good? Okay. Good afternoon to you all, Mr. Secretary of State, Beneficiary of Person, His Excellency Ambassador Tove. Now I don't remember the other name. Sorry. All the other, the other, I would say, entities and managers responsible. In a way, it's also to return to a former home. In a way, it's with the Director General of Maritime Policy. I see here many known faces. I will be very brief. So this is a celebration moment because we have here the results and the impact of many projects that were financed by the EEA grants mechanism, and they are also a demonstration of cooperation. This is what we've been, listening and also hearing the word, but here you'll see the word in action. And cooperation and partnership between two maritime nations, two ocean countries, that together represent a lot of what it is the maritime area of the North Atlantic. So this is a moment also of celebration, of a journey, of learning, to see how we can take these projects and scale them up and multiply. It's an honor for Foro Oceano to be the host of this venue and of this event, and you can count, of course, with Foro Oceano to make it happen in partnership, and especially with Norway, where we have also a deep partnership with the clusters, especially GC Ocean Tech, and several other companies and research centers. Thank you very much, and let's make it happen. Thank you.
We have now the honor to announce the Ambassador of Norway, Her Excellency Tove Bruvik Westberg.
Good afternoon to all. State Secretary, Secretary General, leader of Focal Point, Sanne Ramos, ladies and gentlemen, Norwegians, Portuguese, all nationalities, all protocol observed. Thank you so much for inviting me to say a few words today. But let me start by congratulating Dgpm for putting together this wonderful exhibition, showing many of the results from the EEA grants program and under the Blue Growth program under the EEA grants. You should really take time to visit the various stands. I would also take the opportunity to congratulate the government of Portugal, together with the government of Kenya, in hosting this fantastic event. It has been a great effort, and it's really a well delivered job. We are here to celebrate, but not only to celebrate, to find new solutions to be able to reach the Sustainable Development Goals, and particularly then the SDG 14. Together with me, during these days, I've had the honor to have not less than 3 ministers present. Minister of Climate and Environment, Minister of International Cooperation, and Minister of Fisheries and Ocean Policy. And together with them also a very big Norwegian delegation, and I can see some faces here representing some of the institutions that also collaborate with Portuguese institutions in executing the EEA grants program. Ladies and gentlemen, the ocean is one of the strongest pillars of Norway's identity. Our nation's spirit has been forged in face of the adversities imposed by the ocean, which has fostered the resilience and inventiveness of our people. And of course, the ocean and its many resources, being it marine resources, being it oil and gas, have also been a source of wealth for our country, allowing over the years for the development of knowledge, experience, and as the years went by, clusters of the blue economy that currently stand among the most advanced, innovative, and competitive worldwide. Norway and Norwegian businesses in particular are well aware that the global economy is undergoing a transition phase, rightfully driven by our common climate and environmental ambitions. This complex and demanding transition process implies necessarily many challenges, but also many more opportunities for economic growth. Norway is working collectively as a country and together with our many international partners to have a leading role in the global transition towards a more sustainable future. And one of the concrete ways in which we are working to achieve this is through the EEA and Norway grants. Blue growth is a focus area under the EEA and Norway grants programs on business development, innovation, and SMEs. Blue growth programs support business cooperation, innovation, and competitiveness in the marine and maritime sectors. These programs consider that the ocean, coastal areas, rivers, and lakes are drivers of the European economy and at the same time must be sustainably managed. But therefore, they have great potential for innovation, new technology, and growth, but the activities along the waters put the resources at increasing risk. In Portugal alone, the EEA grant supports approximately 80 projects throughout the country that are contributing to increased value creation and sustainable growth in the Portuguese blue economy. And a great part of them are developed through an intense cooperation between Norwegian and Portuguese partners. And I must add here that I had today the pleasure to visit the Institute of Agronomy of the University of Lisbon together with the 2 ministers. And we were offered biscuits, ice cream, and bread made of algae. And this is a project undergoing right now in cooperation between Norwegian and Portuguese universities, as well as Norwegian and Portuguese businesses. And I can assure you, the algae ice cream was wonderful. So it is with great enthusiasm that we are starting to get the exciting results of the projects under the Blue Growth Program. And we are looking forward to hearing about your progress and achievements. We believe the best way to achieve a sustainable blue economy is through strong international partnerships based on inspiring agendas and backed by the financial resources needed to spark and support sustainable blue growth. Let us continue working together and let's start. Thank you.
Now we have the pleasure to announce the head of National Focal Point EEA Grants 2014-2021 Financial Mechanism, Susana Ramos.
Good afternoon to all. A special greeting to the Secretary of State for the Sea and to Mrs. Ambassador with whom we have the pleasure to work very closely in the implementation of EE grants in Portugal. Thank you very much for that. And also a warm greeting to the Secretary General of Foro Oceano, Ruben, and also to Deputy Director for Maritime Policy, Conceição. Thank you all also. I extend a special recognition to the Portuguese companies present here for their willingness to develop businesses and innovation that can add value to our economy. As National Focal Point representative of EE grants in Portugal, it is with great pleasure that we join to this event. For those who are not yet familiar with EE grants, it is a 7-year financial mechanism that results from the agreement in the European Economic Area signed in Porto in May 1992 between the member states of the European Union and 3 EFTA states, Norway, Liechtenstein and Iceland, granting their participation in the internal market of the European Union to promote a continuous and balanced strengthening of economic and trade relations in the European Economic Area and jointly agreeing on the need to reduce economic and social disparities. The parties to the agreement created the financial mechanism known by EE grants, with the objectives of reducing economic and social disparities and also to strengthening bilateral relations. The history of EE grants in Portugal represents an essential support in priority sectors such as blue economy, environmental protection, adaptation to climate change and promotion of renewable energy, strengthen civil society and social and human development, but also the protection of cultural heritage. I would like to underline the importance of the current financial mechanism 2014-2021, where Portugal benefits of a global allocation of 102.7 million euros to support 5 different programs: Blue Growth Program, Environment Program, Culture Program, Work-Life Balance and Gender Equality Program, and also the Active Citizens Fund. And we have also the Fund for Bilateral Relations, aimed at strengthening not only the already established cooperation relations, but also to explore new areas of bilateral interests with Norway, Iceland and Liechtenstein. Allow me to highlight the blue growth area for the importance that assume for today's event, of course, but also for the business potential and that is allocated to this sector. The Portuguese coast is extensive, with multiple opportunities. Since the beginning, EE grants in Portugal have financed projects in the sea area, which seek to leverage these opportunities based on the size and the location of our sea. EE grants have been contributed to the promotion of business development and innovation focused on sustainable marine and maritime growth, favoring small and medium enterprises. At the same time, there is a strong support dedicated to research, science and technology, as well as support for education and professional training. But the sea is not just a priority for Portugal, as it represents an area of natural cooperation between Norway and Iceland. We start from a similar context and with common challenges that we share an agenda for the oceans. Finally, we are very pleased to share that early this month, on 16th June, the negotiations were opened between EU and the EEA on the financial mechanism for 2021-2027, aimed at reducing economic and social disparities. Thank you very much for your attention.
Now we have the pleasure to announce the Deputy Director for Maritime Policy, Conceição Santos.
Good afternoon, everyone. Special compliment to the Norwegian ambassador, the Portuguese Secretary of State for the Ocean, the Coordinator National Focal Point, Secretary General for Oceano, dear ladies, dear gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to me to be here on behalf of the Blue Growth program to share with you just what this program is, but an overview of what we are financing now that all the calls are closed and the project selected. And we'll start by saying that this program is very relevant to promote the sustainable blue economy in Portugal and filling gaps in financing and strengthen the cooperation with donor countries in areas in which they share a common interest and view. The Blue Growth program encompasses three main areas in cross-cutting approach: business, especially promoting innovation in companies, research in fields that support the blue economy, including knowledge about marine natural capital, climate change, and marine habitats. And last but not least, education, literacy, and training in job and on board. This program has a total of 45.9 million euros, 39 from EU grants and 6.9 from PT state budget. The program is managed by Dgpm and involves itself 4 partners from the donor countries: Innovation Norway, Iceland Center for Research, Research Council of Norway, and DICO. And of course, it's very, very relevant to strengthen bilateral relationships. In Portugal, between different sectors and between them and other from donor countries. So we had 10 calls, all closed by now, and 42.5 million euros to support projects. Now we have already 98% of grant allocated. We would like to emphasize that we had a high demand for financing. We received 254 applications, and now we have 109 projects approved. This corresponds to a total investment of 54.5 million euros in Blue Growth. More than 50% of the projects have one or more partners from donor countries. That is very meaningful. The global figures I shown in the previous slide are allocated this way between the 3 areas of the program. 72% more or less of the approved expenditure is business. That corresponds to more or less 64% in terms of grant approved. In business, the rate of support is about 70%. That means 30% is supported by the promoters and partners, more of them companies corresponding to private investment. We approved many projects in education, but a pool of them are small projects dedicated to literacy and nautical sports, trying to attract young people to the blue economy, giving them some competence in nautical sports that are relevant for many activities of the Blue Growth. If we look deeply into the business area, we see in detail which sectors are the most representatives in terms of numbers of projects and approved grant. 57 of the projects are in bioeconomy, 53 projects, one in circular economy to make use of their own fish waste, followed by environmental monitoring and surveillance and technologies for deep sea mapping. 14 of the projects, 8 projects. And in third place, ocean renewable energies with 7% of the projects. 61 of the grant is bioeconomy. That includes fisheries, aquaculture, industry and biotech. Followed by environmental monitoring and surveillance and technology for deep sea mapping, 8%. Several other sectors are similar in terms of grant, near to 5 to 7%, including the ones related with circular economy. Many of these projects are focused in innovation and are aligned with the objectives of digitalization and efficiency or climate change and decarbonization. But Portugal and donor countries share the same global agenda for sustainable development, with a special attention to the ocean blue economy issues. In a glance, we look to the year grants Blue Health Program, and we can see that despite it is focused in making business, it is supporting a few cost-cutting projects on marine biodiversity and marine habitats. We have 3 projects that are looking specially to marine reforestation and blue carbon, and 4 projects are specifically in marine waste, 3 with waste collected in the ocean and 1 using waste produced in the promoters industry of fishing process. But the program goes beyond the goal 14. More than half of the program is dedicated to projects on marine food chain, very aligned with the goal number 2. We have meaningful investments in blue biotech that can be aligned also with the goal 3 dedicated to health. And we have projects on marine renewable energies very aligned with the goals 13 and 7. Just a few words to better understand who the project's promoters are and where they are. In business, the promoters need to be a company, and the majority are SMEs, but we also are supporting 4 big companies. One pointing to remarks, 55% of grants are allocated to the promoters and the rest to the partners. We have projects and promoters in every regions, including Açores and Madeira autonomous regions, proving that all the country has in some way a maritime focus. Let's now talking about cooperation. One of the main objectives of the program is to strengthen cooperation between Portugal, between entities in Portugal, and between Portugal and donor countries, especially Norway and Iceland. So we get these impressive figures. 68% of the projects have Portuguese partners and 61 partners from donor countries. This is in terms of projects with cooperation. But 26% of the grant allocated is to Portuguese partners and 19 to partners from donor countries. In the business area, we found 69 different Portuguese partners and 36 different partners from donor countries. What I would like to underline is that the business sector is cooperating with the research and development sector and vice versa, depending on whether we are in the area dedicated to business promoters or to R&D promoters. And this is valid whether we are talking about Portuguese partners or partners from donor countries. This is very relevant because cooperation is one of the things we wanted to strengthen. Now, let's looking in the projects itself. Following my presentation, we will have the opportunity to have a dedicated pitch to these projects, financing the Blue Growth Year Grants program, selecting according the different thematic areas of this event, one sustainable ocean event. I expect you would like. Thank you for your attention and wait for the new results of this program.
We will continue this session with the presentation of the projects by the promoters. First presentation will be dedicated to the project MRIMP from the promoter OLSPS International.
Good afternoon, everybody. I cannot hear myself, but hopefully you can hear me. My name is Amos Barkai. I'm the CEO of a company called OLSPS, which have offices in Cape Town and Lisbon. And our company specialized in the quantitative management of fish resources, with special attention to the collection of the data relevant to the management of fish operation. operating from Cape Town, from beautiful Cape Town, and we're also operating from Portugal, from beautiful, very friendly, very welcoming Portugal. So our main objective in the project, not in this project, but in general as a company, was to move away from the old way of collecting data, fishery data, to a new modern data technology. We believe that the fishery management need to be about holistic management, which include not just the management of the resource, but the management of the entire ecosystem in which the resource, the fish resource, is operating. And as a result, we felt that the paper logbook and the traditional paper log sheet are completely not suitable for that kind of data requirement. So we started almost 20 years ago the development of electronic logbook, which is now used in many countries around the world, mainly for fishery compliance. The electronic logbook have two units. They have a unit that is operating on fishing vessel and can collect any type of data. And when I say data, I mean data include images, video, text, sensory data, any type of data, which then can be sent into a server, into a web-based server, either our server or the authorities and the compliance server. And this data then can be used for the compliance. So our software is certified for compliance in Australia, in New Zealand, in Europe, in the UK and other countries around the world. It also allows for real-time feedback between the management authority and the vessel, so the management decision can be done in real time, and the assessment of the stock, of the fish stock, can be done in as close to real time as possible. The MREP project was this particular project that we done with the funding of the EA, was to bring our technology into the Portugal commercial fleet, and had three main objectives. The first objective was to use our technology to reduce the bycatch of sharks in the fishery, in the troll fishery in Portugal. And we worked together with the Algarve University to collect data which we needed then to create mitigation devices and mitigation processes in order to reduce the number of sharks caught by the troll net. The other objective was to integrate our technology with camera technology, what we call electronic monitoring. We use camera that produced by a Norwegian company called Imenco, which never used their camera for fishery monitoring. So we brought, together with them, this technology into the fishing industry here. And we create an integration between our data technology and their camera technology. So any report, any data that collected can be verified by the fishery. And the last things that we done, we introduced artificial intelligence technology into this imagery technology in order to automate the process of scrutinize all this information automatically using machine learning technology. Many thanks to everybody, and thanks a lot. Bye.
Second project is Sea Rubbish to Cap from the promoter Neutroplast.
First of all, thank you all. This is really different. It's not listening to people, but okay. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Well, this is very clear. We are trying to establish guides in order to help to recover waste from fishery imports. Okay, you know that. The most important thing, it is always related, it is to education. You know that our brain, it is very brilliant, but most of the times it tends to get very used to make things. And so every time we are learning, we stop thinking and it gets automatic. And we are not seeing so much investment in this term of education, and we still have some generations. and that they are not aware as our kids are. Fortunately, I have already three kids in house. They are always pushing this, and so I have learned very fast the importance of doing it. But if I go upwards to my parents, to my uncles, and all, it gets much harder. And so this is what we try to do. I've been a couple of days at another conference, and I've made a question that I'm not going to make here. I'm going to make a tougher question, which is which of you are really certain that you are well separating the garbage in your house? I'm not going to ask anyone to put your arms raised up because the other ones, they will be embarrassed. So I'm not going to do that. And so basically we are trying to, it is to establish standards. Okay, simple but complex things. I don't know, I liked a lot Stephen Hawking, and one of the things that he was brilliant, it was combining different theories and different aspects of life science. We have done here more or less the same thing, but not only in one single brain, but in between companies, and that they have very specific knowledge and very complex, but combined they are even much more interesting. And so we have gathered companies of diving, we have gathered institutes in order to establish standards, in order to recover the materials, and this is my company, Neutroplast. Yes, I'm a plastic packaging company, but we are a zero waste company, so it is also possible to make good things with such not so nice things. Okay. And also on the part of BitClick, in order to put some AI, in order to have the traceability of all this, because this is going to generate money. We are trying to build a business model in order to have money to pay all these entities, and this is the beauty of the process. Okay, so basically this is just explaining a little bit about the collection and the separation, the recycling, how we are going to reuse it, and using here different technologies in order to use it for different applications, and also the data management, in order, because everyone wants to make sure that this is really coming from the sources that we are trying to always say to people. And the greenwash, it's very out there, and so it's very tough, for instance, on myself, packaging company, trying to tell that I'm not doing greenwash. And well, so I will just finish this. I think an important thing is that we need to focus on the part of the education. If we don't do it, we still have many years until our kids take the rules of the countries. So I think now we have still some few years in order to do something, and we still have the help of the partners, but if we don't push everyone, and I think this needs to be really rough and making some penalties also, we won't change it. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone. I'm from OceanScan. OceanScan is the promoter of this project. Part of this, the other partners is our Norwegian SME, Maritime Robotics, and Porto University, our scientific partner. So a brief introduction about OceanScan. So OceanScan is a Portuguese SME with its headquarters in Matosinhos. We are located real close to sea. So the company was founded in 2008 as a spin-off from LSTS laboratory at Porto University, and we dedicate our effort to develop innovative technologies for monitoring the ocean or the water masses. So our car product is the LOV, so a lightweight, small-size autonomous underwater vehicle. We also have other products such as communication gateways and surface drifters. All those products are used to monitor the sea. So until now we have more than 80 LUV units delivered. So they are delivered worldwide for different applications including civil, academic, research, defense and so on. So what is the LUV? Just to give you an idea, it's a small, so those were the key ideas behind the development of the LUV long time ago, but we still maintain these key ideas every time we run a new development. So in order to have a sustained presence on the ocean, we need lightweight and portable tools, including such as the LOV. They need to be cost effective, but nevertheless they need to collect good data. So we see that it's not important to have a low-cost solution if you cannot get good data from the sea. And of course, every tool needs to be robust and reliable because they need to deploy at the sea to collect the data. So another thing that we believe that it's important and different and is a difference between our competitors is that we try to have a modular platform, and the customer is able to understand how the platform it's built and what is going on inside. So this is very important, especially for research, and when you are doing things for the first time and you are deploying the stuff at the sea. So you by yourself, if you are an expert on that and you are trying to understand the phenomenon, you really can customize the system on time to get the data faster, so you don't need to stop your survey, go back home, look at the data, understand what needs to be done, contact the vehicle manufacturer, go back again to the sea, so you can get results faster and faster. So now, why the COMAT project? So why why we are working on this proposal and on this project? So, but bathymetry, especially nearshore bathymetry, is very dynamic. So you need to go to the sea to collect data to understand how the bathymetry is changing. And this takes time, of course, it's expensive, it's laborious. And the platforms, so the autonomous platforms are becoming more and more common and available in the institutions. So why not to create a system taking the advantage of each platform, combining its advantage and making this a cooperative mapping system that will be able to use these technologies, so surface vehicles and underwater vehicles, and get bathymetry maps easier, using less resource, faster and better. So the objectives and the goals for the COMAPs are those ones. So have a modular multi-vehicle system able to get bathymetry from the bottom, where the vehicles are automatically allocated for each area, so the operator does not be worried, or we don't need to use a lot of operators, and it will be easier to task each vehicle. So the software and the data will start getting from the seabed, and each vehicle will have on-board software capable of understanding the quality of data that is being gathered from the bottom. So we don't need to wait for the end of survey to understand if the data is good, if we need to return. So this will be done in real time. So do it faster, better, and with less money. So of course a lot of those technologies are already available in the partners, but those technologies need to evolve to comply with the requirements from the survey. So multi-beam echo sounder will be integrated on board the LOV. Better acoustic communication link will be also integrated on board the LOV, and an algorithm for onboard autonomy will be developed to understand the area that is being covered. So if there's holes, the vehicle will understand in real time if there's holes, and it will progress all the survey is going, and the data gathered. So sometimes you get data, but you don't have enough points of data, so you need better resolution or so, and the quality of data is being assessed on board. So the LOV from OceanScan will be used and evolve. The autonomous surface vehicle from Maritime Robotics, our Norwegian partner, will also be through this process. And the work from Port University, so regarding the command and control software, the software that is running outside and is using by the operator to understand what is going on, of course it needs to evolve. New communication protocols need to be adjusted, so the optical allocation of tasks, so understanding that you have a large area, so everything needs to be adapted. So at this time the project is running for more than 1 year, and we are planning the first tests in July. So they will happen in July. The first combined test, including the three parts of the system, will be done in September, and the final demonstration will be done in April. Sorry for.
We will proceed with the presentation of the project Cat Weather from the promoter iClimate Advisor.
Hi all, I hope I can be faster to present. Sorry about this. In Portugal, we encounter several hazards regarding to weather. We get from excessive water or lack of water generates fires and all kinds of problems to the human activity. This actually is being led by the increase of temperature, not only in the atmosphere, but also in our oceans, which has been rising ever since we ended up in this land. And this basically disrupts the operations that we have in our ecosystem and businesses. We are presenting Cat Weather, a weather platform to forecast exactly what will the weather be like for the next days. We've come out with a 10 to 15 awareness and readiness, in terms of the to identify the extremes that you have and to take advantage of either the weather opportunities or the hazards that you encountered. With a new technology called Intelligent Forecast Accuracy Booster, which is a proprietary model made by iClimate, we have, a new platform that identifies what are the hazards for the cities and for the businesses, and try to identify exactly what impact it will have on the businesses. So whenever you want to have an event, we can use this new technology to have this weather awareness for your business decisions. Okay, thank you.
Now we announce the project Fireboat Solar Set Solution from the promoter iBlueBoat.
Good afternoon. I start with a simple question, which is, can luxury be green? It's a simple question that requires serious answers. The world is finally paying attention. Of course, like the spoiled brats we are only paying attention because we're being punished by the planet. No one is innocent. None of us are. The new generations demand it. They're not asking for it, they're demanding it. And even my generation and the generation before me, who are the most culprits in this situation, are really paying attention. And that's what matters. On the one hand, governments tend to be too slow in effecting change. They're built like that. Democratic governments have to gather quite a lot of opinions, have to build consensual solutions, and then they have to implement them. They're not built for speed. Non-democratic governments, dictatorships like Russia, couldn't care less. They're more interested in destroying countries than saving the planet. So we have to rely on democratic governments. Fortunately, we work with partners who have found out and implemented systems that aid and enable civil society and private sector to come up with fast solutions. Furthermore, another paradox is that usually the luxury market tends to lag behind wherever the environment is concerned. It's a paradox because companies can't produce sustainably or sustainable products cheaply. It's more expensive to build sustainable products. And if you go into the luxury market, those who can afford it care less. And the people that care more, I'm talking about the majority. Of course, there are huge numbers of exceptions. The people who care more usually can't afford either sustainable products, which are more expensive, or luxury products. It's a paradox. So this was the situation we were faced with. And the question we posed ourselves was quite simple. What if we can harness the most powerful energy in existence to produce guilt-free luxury with zero carbon footprint in a product? And so we did. The Faro 5 is a 5-meter luxurious runabout powered by an electric motor that recharges from its own solar docking station in under 2 hours. I'm on the last slide, so you'll be pleased to know that I'll be finishing soon. It costs zero to operate, produces zero carbon emissions, and the beautiful thing about it is it can be taken anywhere, regardless of whether there is electricity or not. So it can be used for luxury leisure day outs, but it can be used for explorations up the remotest areas of the Amazon, or it can be placed in remote luxury resorts in Seychelles. Doesn't matter. You just float it and use it. It is, in fact, the world, as far as we know, the world's first fully self-sustainable solution for leisure and exploration boating. So, to answer my initial question, can luxury be green? Yes, it can. The thing is, it has to be made beautiful. It has to be beautifully designed so that most customers that can afford luxury products fall in love with it. And that's the key. I know I'm finished. Thank you.
The next presentation will be the project Mobile Station from the promoter Flying Sharks.
Okay, everybody. So thank you so much, esteemed members of government and Dgpm and ambassador from Norway. Thank you so much for the invitation to be here. I will be telling you about our company, Flying Sharks, which started in 2006. Our very first transport was a small devil ray that we moved to L'Oceanographic in Valencia. Very, very simple filtration, couple of battery-operated filters that were all mounted on a small tank so that the manta ray wouldn't be harmed by the filtration because of the cephalic lobes. We then moved 4 sunfish to George Aquarium in Atlanta. Again, very simple rudimentary system, a couple of tanks with some batteries, some filters. The last segment of the trip was actually taken from New York to Atlanta in a 1948 DC-4, very cool plane. Then we took our largest order ever, 3,100 fish from Portugal, including the Azores and Madeira, to Istanbul. We filled 2 A300s full of fish that were collected in the Azores by my friends from Horta. All fish were kept in 40-foot shipping containers, very, very difficult conditions with the cars lighting up the system at night. These containers then were brought by ship, by sea, to Lisbon. They were all consolidated in Olhão, and we finally filled 2 planes again with the 3,100 fish, and this was a little more sophisticated. We had some probes, we had some chemicals that we added to the water, and I'm very proud to say we had 3 losses in that transport, so that's 99.9% survivorship. And we pretty much kept this pace. This is us, 2019, moving salmon from Sveio in Norway, in fact, to Pingo Doce in Aveiro, where we started applying this philosophy of preventing water quality deterioration. Instead of correcting it, we actually use some chemicals to prevent it from deteriorating. Which brings us to this, our transport unit, which was our original name. It's a 40-foot shipping container, fully climatized, with very, very sweet, state-of-the-art conditions to move fish. We, in fact, now call it the mobile holding station, because it's really like our station in Peniche or in Horta with wheels. We can move it to Morocco, we can move it to Turkey, to Azerbaijan, and we can keep fish there and basically move them back to Portugal whenever we want. We're fully prepared to receive power from any continent, from ship, from whenever we want. We are fully equipped with all sorts of lighting fixtures so that we can pack our fish with red light, which makes them a little calmer and it's good for them. We are equipped also with completely automatic systems that will monitor the water quality. And then, of course, we have a GSM network that will allow us to follow everything that's happening with remote cameras on our cell phones. And, of course, a coffee machine, which is very important for these trips. And we will be on the road by 2023, so we're very happy about that. Construction is happening very fast. And I would like to take the opportunity again to thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
The following presentation will be dedicated to the project Coast for Us from the promoter R5 Consulting Engineers.
Hi all, thank you very much to Dgpm to invite us here. I'm Pedro, I'm from R5 Marine Solutions. I'm here to present the Coast for Us project. As we all know, coastal erosion is a serious problem in Portugal. The Coast for Us project aims to improve one tool that was developed by University of Aveiro and the R5 Marine Solutions, the Coast, which is a tool that helps to improve coastal management by developing by doing assessment of cost assessment of cost benefit of coastal interventions. This tool, with the Coast for Us project, we aim to apply this tool to 3 locales in order to get basically to prove that the Coast tool is ready for market. But what is the Coast tool then? The Coast is composed by three different modules. The first one evaluates the shoreline position So we use it basically to first to see the current scenario. We see the current scenario with all the current interventions within a time period of 20, 30, 40 years, and then together with APA, with municipalities and other stakeholders, we define a range of scenarios, like 20 or around 20 scenarios, and and we run those scenarios, getting the shoreline position of each of those scenarios. Then we pass to the XD Coast module. With that XD Coast module, we pre-design and we pre-budget all those scenarios. And finally, with the cost benefits module, we assess the benefits, and together with the costs, we give a cost benefit ratio for each scenario. The objective here, after we apply to the three locations, to Aveiro, to Figueira da Foz, and to Costa da Caparica, it's to compile basically a document with all those scenarios that will be delivered to the Portuguese Environmental Agency, which supported us in this project. By the way, let me thank also to the municipalities of these three locations that received us. Ilhavo, Vagos, Figueira da Foz and Almada, all of them received us and are very excited about the project. After this, the project is nearing its end. We expect to have the final results by the end of this year. After that, the main objectives of this project is to continue applying or supporting coastal management with public entities, but also with municipalities, namely, for example, with mitigation plans that municipalities have been done, and we already were contacted in order to help them with supporting these kinds of assessments, but also to go internationally. We already have a partnership in Iceland to improve the coast model, in order to improve its capabilities, to be able to apply it to more locations, and also have already initiated some contacts abroad that we have with the R5 group and with the Oregon State University in the United States to show and to improve, to apply our tools abroad. And thank you all. Please answer the questionnaire. It's very important for us to continue assessing the benefits. And thank you all.
And the last presentation will be dedicated to the project eShip from the promoter Marlow Consult.
Okay, hello, good afternoon. It's really weird not to hear you. I would like first of all to thank Secretary of State, Madam Ambassador, Focal Points, Ana Ramos, Dgpm, all the team of Dgpm, and of course Forum Oceano for this event. Let's jump to the shipping market, the shipping industry. So eShip project was granted by the EU grant program, Blue Growth program. We had a big challenge. The challenge was the bulk market. So it's a market, as you know, containers are very important way of transporting goods, but we have also the bulk market, and it's not so organized and so digitalized as we thought. So the big challenge was using the new digital tools that we know that are now in our everyday life to try to full digitalize the supply chain in this particular market, and with that information also to bring to good opportunities and decisions for the business. So the idea was, on behalf and also to thank you on behalf of the partners of the eShip, was to gather all the know-how about the bulk market and to do a software as a service platform. So that was the challenge. Sorry, yeah. So the project overview, the idea was with this platform to match intelligent matching of ships and cargoes, also make automatization of chartering procedures and have enough data to make analytics of all the results for good decisions, for efficiency in the processes, and with that optimization of freight rates, reduction of back office expenses, because all this market is it still has a lot of paper, a lot of proceedings. It's done by calls, fax, emails. I mean, we are not yet on the digital world, and application of business intelligence. So you can see the present communication framework is rather strange and with a lot of users and a lot of middlemen in the process. And the idea was exactly this, to identify all the users, all the stakeholders, and group all the information in one platform that would be useful, could be a time where the information is always so it's visualized by everybody in the process, and that all is visible for everybody. So the eShip platform in this moment is a demonstrator. Here is a front page for the users. We are looking forward to commercialize this software as a service platform, and the feedback has been very good until now. And here are the partners. So the idea was to gather together 3 CMEs and 2 academias, with which one of them is the Reykjavik University. It's been very interesting because we have been also testing the platform with the academia and with the students and the teachers, and on the same and parallel, the SMEs are very involved in that market. So we gather people from the same area, but from different backgrounds. And that's it. I hope I was fast enough. Thank you very much.
Thanks to all the promoters for their excellent presentations. Now, to close this session, we have the honor to announce His Excellency, the Secretary of State of Maritime Affairs, José Maria Costa.
Boa tarde a todos. Em primeiro lugar, um cumprimento à Sra. Embaixadora da Noruega. É um prazer estar de novo consigo, ainda por cima, numa apresentação destes projetos. Um cumprimento muito especial também à Fórum Oceanos, na pessoa do seu Secretário-Geral, e também agradecer e felicitar por esta iniciativa de de nos colocar debaixo desta pala tão famosa do arquiteto Cisa Vieira para acolher esta tão importante organização dos oceanos e, acima de tudo, de nos permitir este encontro também. Cumprimento também à Dgpm, às outras entidades que estão ligadas também ao Igrantes, a todos os promotores. Dear friends of the ocean, it's my great pleasure and honor to count on your enthusiasm and interest for the blue business and innovation for the sustainable use of the ocean. This event is a part of this major conference that will shape the future of the ocean in coming years, and we are confident that your presence and participation will further contribute to increase the knowledge to better informed decision making and action. The Blue Growth Programme of the EU grants presents itself a driver of business opportunities for the various sectors of the blue economy in Portugal. The development of this business will stimulate the national economy and creation of jobs, which are so necessary in a decade that began with a pandemic that has profoundly threatened economic and social stability. Portugal is in line with the international scientific community the United Nations and many organizations and governments in the decarbonization of the economy and in the application of the principles of the circular economy, focusing on the efficiency of the process and the sustainability of the resources. In addition to the governments and the civil society being key actors in the change, the private sector is also called upon to act, having to the redefining business models for a sustainable blue economy. In this noteworthy that the Blue Growth Programme embodies excellent fundings with the objective of increasing the value creation and the sustainable growth in the Portuguese blue economy, including long-term maritime economic growth, social cohesion, and the protection of the marine environment, as well as education and training. Humanity's dependence on the ocean is inquestionable, so it is necessary to act to guarantee its protection, as well as sustainable use in the present, but also a legacy to the guarantee the well-being of the future generations. The evolution and the growth of the innovation sector are excellent examples of the new opportunities for a society that wants to be increasingly sustainable, such as renewable energies, the blue economy, or the biotechnology. The governments of Portugal and Kenya, together with the United Nations, have worked incessantly on the organization of this great event and are hopeful that you take each and every opportunity to enhance your knowledge, expertise and business network for the benefit of the ocean health. As such, I will keep my intervention brief by wishing you a very fruitful discussions, and I'm very grateful for your presentations. Thank you, and let's make the ocean health again. Thank you.
And now we close the session. Thank you all for your presence.